Hello, my name is Kurt Smolik. I am the author of the book Enemies, Immoral. Immoral is a time like before we remember. So, being titled that way, Enemies, Immoral, these enemies have been enemies since before written word, before we can remember. So, kind of starts taking place way back when humanity first began. These aliens came, built the pyramids, became pharaohs in Egypt, were in charge of the Mayans. This did a lot of building and unexplained things, that real artifacts, real places that I've tied together in this story that they've controlled and built, wanted to control this earth. But then all the nations, all the people come together and are tired of these aliens controlling them. So they fight back, and there's a huge battle. And at any rate, the aliens head back to Atlantis, where their main base is, and sink it to get away from the human race. And some of their main enemies were the giants, were other mythical, possibly real creatures that lived back then. Bigfoot, giants. Through the ages, these aliens have slowly integrated back into our society, and now I have a small group, a team called Infectus Fighter. So Infectus Fighter is like infection fighter, but their two co-leaders are a half-bred small gray alien and human. His name's CJ. His best friend and co-leader is Grim, which is a Marine. So they know these aliens are starting to take over more and more, and so they come together trying to get a team put together to take them on, to stop them from taking over our planet. And so they recruit some of the, I would say, individuals around the world that have special powers. So one's an old farm boy. He was in a farm accident. He was mixing chemicals, bug killer chemicals. Something went wrong. He fell back, got shocked with the chemicals blowing up in his face. He now has an exoskeleton, which makes him super strong. An ant can pick up more than it's like 100 times its own weight. Well, being he has an exoskeleton now, his skin's still normal skin, it's just really hardened, but he can pick up. He's really strong. Put it that way. He's like the super strong one of the group. So he's one of them they recruit. There's a female that her parents were archaeologists down in South America. They stumbled across some alien artifacts down there. The aliens shot their airplane down when they were coming back. Her parents both died, but she survived in South America, raised by jaguars for many years until humanity finally captured her. She was raised knowing martial arts, became still the wild side of her, but she now has been trained for martial arts, and is a real good hand-to-hand combat fighter. Her name is Spitfire. Another one is Spellbinder. She is the great-great-granddaughter of Merlin. She has his wand, knows all his magic, and she has a pet dragon that's comes into play later on in the story. I think my other characters are Bigfoot himself. The aliens do not like Bigfoot. They try to take him out. Both of his other tribe members, his parents, were killed by aliens. Bigfoot is now of age, big, 7-foot tall creature, very, very strong, but he hates aliens. But CJ, the leader of the Infectus Fighter, kind of knows about him, where he's at. They go find Bigfoot and recruit him as part of their team. So Bigfoot's becoming more and more famous, even in our society nowadays. So I thought, Bigfoot, Sasquatch, it would be a perfect team member for these guys. So Bigfoot is part of the team. A little bit later, Aquarius comes along. She is the last surviving member of Atlantis. When the aliens got a hold of Atlantis and sunk it, most of the people died. Some of them became where they could, live in the water. She is the last surviving Atlantean. She wants revenge. And then there's Wavelength. So Infectus Fighter on our timeline actually fails in a couple battles, which changes everything. The aliens take over. Wavelength is from the future, is a future fighter. They have a major battle in the future, and the aliens are taking over. This last battle, they use what energy they have left in their headquarters to send him back through time to help today's Infectus Fighters win a couple of these battles to change the timeline so that they do not lose. So Wavelength has superior firepower. He has an armored bodysuit, jetpack. He can fly. So a lot of knowledge of what's happening, where the alien bases are at, stuff like that. Because from the future, they fought them. They know where they're at. So that's the main characters. Spitfire has a pet jaguar too named Jax. He comes into play later too. So a few animals here and there, a dragon and a jaguar. But so they have a lot of battles. This and that. That was Infectus Fighter. That was my book 1. I wrote a second book called Ancient Enemies, Future Heroes. I tied them together all in Enemies Immoral. So book 1 and book 2 are combined. So book 1 kind of ends where Atlantis is sunk, and then chapter 21, I believe it's right in that area, is where the next story kind of goes on, where they've won this major battle, but they're trying to finish the fight. Their major enemy is now the main guy. The main bad guy is now kind of seen. His name is Akhenaten, like his great-great-grandfather, Akhenaten of the Pharaohs. He is a descendant, really wants power, really a tall, slender, not a gray alien. He's a tall, very tall alien, kind of a meaner aliens. He has got into the UN, the United Nations, and under disguise, they pull his disguise back in their battle in Atlantis. So he goes back to the home base. So knowing that they have these foes coming after him now, or the enemy coming after him now, Infectus Fighter knows they have a major battle ahead of them. They find a pyramid in Antarctica. They know where their headquarters is. The next headquarters is at. They infiltrate it once, get kicked back. So there are rumors during World War II, the Nazis kind of went down in South America and Antarctica and had a base down there. So in my story, the aliens are in control of the Nazi army that's just still in Antarctica, hidden in center Earth. So that my guys, the Infectus Fighter, knows that they're outnumbered. And so through Spellbinder, she pulls Wavelength's team from the future into this timeline. One of their major battles is the USS Missouri in Hawaii has been hit and been sunk. They take what was left of the USS Missouri, and they turn it in the fighters turn it into their main battleship that flies. It's a flying fortress, so it's pretty much impenetrable. It's just a very slow moving but yet very tough ship. So that's comes into play. They also recruit some of the giants. There's giants hidden in the mountains, still alive today. They go and find them. They recruit them after they had a little battle with them, because giants don't like humans, but they hate aliens even worse. So it accumulates. I mean, we have mystical, we have sci-fi, we have time travelers, aliens, Bigfoot, and a lot of things that possibly exist in our world today. I've tried to tie all those together and put it into a story type form of, if you like magicians, if you like, the sci-fi part of things of dragons and aliens. It's a story where you can find a hero you like out of the main guys, and, from an old farm boy to a Marine to a magician. So there's a lot to it. You could turn it into 2 stories, or just keep it as one big book like I've done now, and Enemies Immoral, which they bring back all the enemies the aliens have ever had, plus today's kind of heroes go into center Earth have a major battle against the aliens and the Nazis and against Akhenaten. And, some of the members don't survive. There's casualties. Some of them come, like with the time travel. Some of them are still in this timeline here, only as a younger version of themselves. So there's a lot of twists and turns. And the way the book ends, it's wide open for possibly another part if this really works so well. With the prelude at the very end, a reptilian alien is seen on the street, knowing that the Akhenaten is maybe possibly out of their way. I'm not gonna give the whole story away, but that the reptilians could be coming in. They're kind of a shape shifting type of very very mean type of group that have been hiding because the taller aliens are a lot more powerful, a lot more technology bound than what they are. They're just a very mean, down to earth, hidden type of creature. So, but in the main story, I bring in a lot of places, a lot of artifacts, from pyramids to South America, some of the places they found that how are these places built? This kind of ties everything together with technology and mystic and in the past, and it's a story which has a lot to it, a lot of characters, some big battles, some big battle scenes. I think it's a very good story. People who have bought the book like it because of all the different type of characters, and they love Bigfoot, they love some of these other characters too. It's just when a dragon can attack a spaceship, I mean, what else better is there? So it's a it's a very good story when you get Bigfoot flying on a dragon and throwing rocks down on aliens, and then the dragon's ripping through spaceships with his claws, and it's just the fighters that come from the future. Some of them have bionics or special abilities too. So it's you never know what's going to be coming up next to the next battle scene or who's going to be introduced. It's a lot of them don't make it, a lot of them do. So I think it's very well. It could be made for a series. It could be made for a movie. It could be done in a lot of ways. So that's my gist of the book, I guess, of the book I wrote. A lot of good characters, a lot of backgrounds, and a lot of good battle scenes. Things, twists and turns you don't think is going to happen. So thanks for listening. This is Kurt Smolik. I said the author of Enemies Are Moral, which I think would be a very good project for anybody to take on to turn this book into a series. I think a lot of action and a lot to it. So thank you, and hope you all have a great day.